What's the most entitled thing you've ever witnessed? I opened my door one morning and found a bright orange violation taped across it, bold letters claiming I'd committed a safety hazard. My crime? Owning a doormat? That's when I realized the HOA's self-declared queen was at it again. She didn't work for the building. She didn't even live here full-time. But her brother sat on the HOA board, and she used that connection like a royal seal. No title, no authority, just a big mouth and blank citation pads she made at home. She'd leave warnings on windshields for parking too close to the curb. She knocked on doors to lecture people about off-brand blinds. She once emailed an entire floor about someone's visually disruptive holiday wreath. But her favorite target was me. It started with my lab, Max. He's calm, quiet, and fully leashed. But one morning in the elevator, she turned to me mid-scroll on her phone and said, "Pets aren't allowed on this floor. I suggest you start using the stairs." I pointed to the sign behind her that clearly said pets were allowed. She squinted at it and said, "The board reserves the right to enforce floor-specific policy." "You're not the board," I replied. She smiled like a villain in a straight-to-DVD movie. Maybe not officially. 2 days later, I got a fake citation taped to my door for excessive canine movement. $75 fine, no logo, just a sticky note and her apartment number in the corner like a signature. I took it straight to building management. The guy at the desk sighed, opened a drawer, and pulled out a stack of her fake notices. "You're number 16 this month," he said. Next day, my doormat disappeared. In its place, another note. "Trip hazard removed. You're welcome." It was a plain rubber mat. I knocked on her door. She opened it in a silk robe, sipping from a wine glass and wearing an expression like I'd tracked mud into Buckingham Palace. "You stole my mat." She lifted her eyebrows. "I relocated it for community safety." "Relocated it? To where?" "I'm not required to disclose that information. You're also not required to act like the CIA of carpeting." She tried to shut the door, but I caught it. "You touch one more thing of mine, and I'll send the actual board a formal complaint with photos." That finally wiped the grin off her face. I didn't stop there. That night, I printed the official building guidelines, highlighted the pet clause, the mat clause, and the section about impersonating HOA personnel. Then I slipped copies under every door on our floor. The next morning, her door had 5 printed leases taped to it by neighbors. One of them included a post-it that said, "I reserve the right to enforce floor-specific policies too." But the real revenge came a day later. She was dragging a folding table toward the mailroom for one of her community feedback forums when the actual HOA president showed up. Mr. Levin, ex-attorney. Deadpan voice, no time for games. He handed her a cease and desist letter in front of 3 other residents. "You are not authorized to speak or act on behalf of this board. Any further impersonation will be met with legal action." She started stammering. "I was only..." He cut her off. "You've been fabricating fines, removing personal property, and harassing pet owners. That's not community management. That's delusion." Her brother didn't save her. No one did. Next HOA email to all residents introduced a new term. Section 9.4, Resident Interference. Unit 3B specific clause. They literally named the policy after her. I got my mat back 2 days later, folded, slightly damp, and smelling faintly like defeat. Now every time Max and I pass her unit, he stops and sniffs the door like he's checking for fresh violations. We haven't found any yet, but if she tries again, I've got 37 printed copies of Section 9.4 ready to go.